Hello, everyone. So the Russian Navy were doing they're going to do exercises next week here, just not too far away from the Irish coast. They weren't in Irish territorial waters, but they were in the economic zone, Ireland's economic zone. Um, so they're going to move now, and obviously Fine Gael are just so delighted with themselves. They're literally going around with their flags and they're happy and they're like, "Oh my God, guys, we prevented Russia from bombing Ireland or whatever they're coming up with." But yeah, OT's having a great time too because they're like, "Fine Gael, the party, the men. These are the men who do business. These are the men who are saving Ireland." And then you look in the streets of Dublin, you see the homeless people, and you're like, "Wait a second, I don't agree with that." Because Simon Cowell, never seen such propaganda in my life about OT. Like OT's having a field day and saying, "Oh, look at Fine Gael, they're great people. They went on they took on the Russians. They went over to Moscow and they kicked them with us. And they said, and Simon Coveney said it's unwelcome, and the Russians were afraid when they said unwelcome. Let's be fair. But in fairness, all jokes aside, that's a good thing that they're not anywhere near the Irish coast. Let's be honest. So that's a good thing, and it's good that the Russians probably were like, it's not a good idea to test the boundaries of, especially because the fishermen. I say this, the fishermen had more balls than the Irish state. Let's be fair. These are the men that need to be given medals. The fishermen were actually going to go out and probably stop them. If you totally honest with it, they're going to probably go with nets and blocked over the ships, and they probably would have fucking fucked over the Russian Navy something fierce more than the Irish Navy would have done, or any Navy would have done, because they probably would have just been there blocking the way of the ships, the naval ships, trying to get anywhere. And they would have fucked them over something fierce. So that's why the ambassador needed to meet with the fishermen, because I think they were more worried about the fishermen than anything else, the Russians. So yes, yeah, they were left angry. So so yeah, they were going to get a good lot of fishing boats and block the Russians. That's what the plan was. They were going to just annoy the Russians, in other words. Which was great. So probably yeah. So it is a good win that the Russians are not anywhere near. Because especially because it is a big fleet now. It isn't a small fleet. Um, Obviously it dwarfs the Irish fleet. Probably one ship has the more firepower than the whole Irish Navy put together. Obviously they have fully manned crew. Obviously the Irish Navy can't even put ships in the water because they haven't got the people to put the ships in the water. And again, and all of a sudden now they're like, we have no navy. Marilyn McDonough came out and said we need more navy. We need to invest more in the navy. Well, no shit, Sherlock, but also, where was Sinn Féin before that when the defence forces you needed? And all of a sudden they're like, oh no, we need a navy. But yeah, it's again, it's a good thing. But yes, but the way it's portrayed in the media, like looking at the Irish Times here, they're like, oh God, Fine Gael's great, aren't they? Look at how great they are. We'll nearly have a parade for Leo in the streets. I say they would nearly have a parade in the streets for Leo. Um, but yeah, I do think the fishermen had a bigger role to play in this than anybody else, to be totally honest. Because I don't think Simon Coveney fighting the Russians. Let's be fair now. Whatever, but the fishermen, because they didn't give a shit. They had big guns and everything on, and they had fully armed crew on ships. They were going to go out and protest them. Like in fairness, the balls on them, like this extreme balls of these fishermen to literally go up to we're going to go up to Russian naval ships and annoy them, in other words. And the Irish state were going to run into a bunker and stay in a bunker and not do anything about it. But yeah, isn't it great? Again, I can just laugh all day long about Simon Coveney thinking that, oh, this is great, I can get elected again. But yeah, so he was down to the Minister for Defence of Russia. So yeah. Isn't it great? Um, yeah, but the Irish fishermen, like again, these are the heroes of the day, the Irish fishermen, because I do think they probably convinced the Russians, because they probably would have gotten away of one of the naval ships, or one of the Russian sailors probably would have fired on one of the ships, and that would have sparked a very heated conversation more than Ukraine, on firing on people from a neutral country, being in the neutral waters of a neutral country, firing on a European country, because you remember Ukraine is not a member of the European Union, and Ireland is a member of the European Union, so it would have been a very, very difficult situation. And obviously firing on a country that has loads of people in the United States, and obviously President Joe Biden has Irish relatives. Like, it would have been not a very good idea if they did do something, because that would have probably sparked some kind of conflict. But yeah, I suppose at the end of the day, crisis averted. Hopefully, maybe they might change their mind. But yeah, so yeah, crisis averted for the moment. But yeah, crazy stuff, isn't it? But yeah, I don't like the way Fine Gael portraying themselves. Oh, it's the heroes, the heroes. But yeah, the fishermen deserve a huge credit. I think we should really go and give them medals, to be totally honest at this stage, of just extreme balls on them to say we're going to take on the Russian Navy and we're going to just annoy them. So yeah, that's what they probably would have done, went and annoyed them completely. But yeah, that balls on them, like quite literally the balls on them. But yeah, thank you everyone, thank you to them fishermen, brave people. Thank you.